The day Elias first met the parrot, the sky over the small town of Brookwillow was the color of pale milk, the kind of sky that made people move slower and speak more softly. Elias was 8 years old and walked with the careful steps of someone who listened more than he spoke. His mother used to say he had old eyes that looked as if they had already seen many endings. Elias lived with his grandmother, Nana Ruth, in a house that leaned slightly to the left, as if it were always listening to secrets whispered by the wind. The house smelled of tea leaves, old books, and lavender soap. Behind it stretched a garden that had once been neat but had grown wild over the years, filled with crooked sunflowers, tomato vines, and a pear tree that bent its branches like tired arms. That morning, Elias had gone to the garden with a slice of bread and a pocketful of quiet. Nana Ruth was inside humming an old tune, the radio low, the kettle beginning to sing. Elias sat on the low stone wall near the pear tree and watched ants march with determination. Across the soil, then he heard a sound he had never heard before. It was not quite a whistle, not quite a cry. It was sharp and bright, like a piece of glass catching the sun. The sound said. Elias froze. He stood up slowly and turned toward the pear tree. There, among the leaves, sat a parrot, the color of summer. Its feathers were a deep emerald green, its wings brushed with blue, and its chest glowed yellow like a hidden sun. One eye was ringed with white, and the other blinked at Elias with careful intelligence. "Hello," the parrot said again, tilting its head. Elias's heart beat hard. He had seen parrots only in books and on television. They did not belong in Brook. They belonged to jungles and faraway places where rain fell warm and heavy. "You can talk," Elias whispered. The parrot ruffled its feathers. "I can listen," it replied. That answer, more than the talking itself, made Elias feel something loosen inside him. Too. A boy who collected silence. Elias did not have many friends. The children at school were not unkind, but they were loud, and Elias often felt as if their voices passed through him like wind through grass. He preferred the company of things that did not rush him. Cloud's books, his grandmother's stories, and the quiet ticking of the old clock in the hallway. Since his parents' car accident 3 years earlier, silence had become both his shelter and his shadow. Nana Ruth loved him deeply, but she carried her own quiet grief, folded neatly like a letter she never opened. When Elias looked at the parrot, he felt no pressure to explain himself. "What's your name?" he asked. The parrot considered this. "I have had many," it said slowly, "but you may call me Luma." "Luma," Elias repeated, tasting the word. The parrot hopped closer along the branch. "And you?" "I'm Elias." Luma echoed, careful and precise. "A good name. It sounds like patience." Elias smiled a small smile, but real. Over the next few days, Luma returned every morning. Elias brought crumbs of bread, apple slices, and sometimes berries from the garden. Luma ate politely, but seemed more interested in conversation. "You speak like someone who has learned," Elias said once. "I have listened to many humans," Luma replied. "Some speak to be heard. Some speak to hide. A few speak to understand." Elias thought about this as he lay on the grass, staring at the drifting clouds. "Can you keep secrets?" Elias asked. Luma fluffed its feathers. "Secrets are heavy things," it said, "but I can hold them if you wish." So Elias began to talk. He spoke about school, about how the classroom felt too bright sometimes, about how he missed his mother's laugh and his father's bedtime stories. He spoke about the nights when memories crept in like cold air under the door. Luma listened. The parrot did not interrupt. It did not offer easy comfort. It simply stayed, its presence warm and steady. When Elias finished, Luma said softly, "You are not broken. You are growing around a wound." Elias had never heard anyone say something like that before. Nana Ruth noticed the change before Elias did. He laughed more. He hummed while helping her in the kitchen. He spent long mornings in the garden, speaking aloud, as if someone were always there. One afternoon, Nana Ruth stood by the window and watched Elias beneath the pear tree. "Who are you talking to, my love?" she asked later. Elias hesitated, then said, "A parrot." Nana Ruth raised an eyebrow. "In Brook?" "Yes, his name is Luma." Instead of laughing, Nana Ruth nodded thoughtfully. "The world is wider than we think," she said. "If he's kind, he's welcome." That evening, Luma perched on the fence as Nana Ruth watered the plants. "Good evening," Luma said. Nana Ruth nearly dropped the watering can. "Well," she breathed, "you do exist." "I do," Luma replied, "and you make excellent tea." Nana Ruth laughed, a sound that rang bright and surprised even herself. As summer deepened, Luma began to teach Elias small lessons, not like school lessons, but like stories hidden inside moments. "Why do you fly?" Elias asked one day. "To remember that the world has many paths," Luma answered. "Walking shows you details. Flying shows you patterns." "I can't fly," Elias said. "You already do," Luma replied. "In your thoughts, in your kindness." They watched storms roll in from the hills. They counted stars. Luma taught Elias how to sit still enough to hear the earth breathe. In return, Elias read to Luma from Nana Ruth's old books. The parrot liked poetry best. "Words can be wings," Luma said. One evening, as the days began to shorten, Elias noticed something different. Luma was restless. Its wings stretched more often. Its gaze lingered on the sky. You're thinking about leaving, Elias said quietly. Luma did not deny it. I follow seasons, it said. Staying too long can make a gift turn into a cage. Elias felt a tightness in his chest. Will you forget me? He asked. Luma stepped closer. Listening changes both the speaker and the listener. It said, I will carry your voice with me. That night, Elias cried for the first time in many months. The storm came suddenly. Wind tore through Brook Willow, bending trees and rattling windows. Rain fell like thrown stones. Nana Ruth lit candles and held Elias close. In the chaos, Elias thought of Luma. When the storm eased, Elias ran outside. Despite Nana Ruth's protests, he found Luma on the ground near the pear tree, wings soaked, eyes dull with exhaustion. Elias cried. Carefully, he lifted the parrot, feeling its small, fierce heartbeat. I am here, Luma whispered. I am. As wrapped Luma in his jacket and carried it inside. Nana Ruth moved quickly, warming towels, making space by the fire. Through the night, Elias stayed awake, whispering stories, the way his father once had. By morning, Luma's eyes were bright again. You listened me back to strength, Luma said. A week later, the sky cleared into a clean, endless blue. It is time, Luma said. Elias nodded, tears slipping silently down his cheeks. They went to the hill outside town. The wind was gentle there. Remember, Luma said, love does not end when presence does. Elias reached out, touching the smooth curve of Luma's feathers one last time. Thank you for hearing me, he said. Luma spread its wings. With a powerful beat, the parrot rose into the sky, circling once before becoming a green spark. Against the blue dot, Elias watched until his eyes ached. The garden felt quieter after that, but not empty. Elias still sat beneath the pear tree. He still spoke aloud. Sometimes the wind answered. At school, Elias raised his hand more often. He listened more deeply. He noticed when others needed silence. Nana Ruth said he had grown taller, though she thought it might be something else, something inside him, standing straighter. One spring morning, a flash of green crossed the sky. Elias smiled. Whether it was Luma or not did not matter. He had learned how to listen, and that, he knew now, was a kind of flight.